Peace and Black Power families, brother Agyei Tyehimba from Harlem Liberation School, where we teach Black people to wake up, clean up, and stand up. Happy to see you. Happy to be breathing. Every day is a blessing. I am very grateful. No matter what's going on in my life, I am grateful. And hopefully you as well, no matter what you see going on TV. You know, you got people, the white boys shooting up people in the school in Georgia. You turn on this news, family, there's always going to be something that will put you in a state of grief and horror, terror. Um, and we, as Africans and New Africans, if we're going to make it in this country, in this world, and in this life, we're going to have to develop a gratitude attitude to make sure that our energy is focused on being better, doing better, thinking better, being agents of healing, and agents of growth, and the agents of liberation. That said, I'm going to put a reminder, a ticker on the bottom that's reminding you all that I've written a new book. It's called Wukusu, a self-empowerment handbook. You see it on the bottom. It's telling you that it's available, where you can get it on Amazon. You go to Amazon, type in my name, or type in Wukusu, and you will get to it. Um, and of course, if people want to buy it from me directly, you can let me know, and I'll tell you how you can do that as well. Today, I want to talk about the concept of expanding our idea of what scholarship is. And I want to say from the outset that I'm under no illusions. I'm not deluded. I'm clear that there are like a trillion YouTube channels. There's a trillion people vying for people's attention, trying to get paid off the social media, selling their products. I understand that. I'm under no impression that there's a billion people necessarily clamoring to hear what I have to say or necessarily buy my products. I'm cool with that. I embrace that. What gives me energy and what brings me here consistently is that I know that there's people, pockets of people throughout this country and the world who do want the specific type of information we provide at Harlem Liberation School. People want to go beyond the surface, want to go a little deeper into Africana studies or Black political education or Black liberation movement related information material. And that's really what we're here to do. That's what we're here for. The people that probably won't like us are the know-it-alls who know little. The sophomores, the wise fools probably won't like our channel because we're going to see through, we're going to bust that up. But the people that's coming in a humble, pure spirit to really learn something, to add on to what they know, and to be agents of change and healing, you're going to love us, family, like we love you. Let's talk about scholarship. Let's talk about expanding our understanding of it. You hear the word scholarship, you think of the word scholar. What you tend to think of is somebody, got a doctorate degree, maybe, the cap and gown you see them wear at graduation, writing these really big books with really high sounding language, you know, that you got to go to your dictionary 100 times to decipher what the person just said or what the person just wrote. And that's unfortunate because scholarship is beautiful. When we understand what it is and what it's supposed to do, it is not something that should be conveyed as nuclear science. It is not something that should be seen as confusing, right? Um, are most of you who had a COVID, some of you took the shot. When I was little, we had to take all types of shots, immunizations, um, and our ability to take certain medications and to rid ourselves of certain diseases and illnesses came from scholarship, family. From people who did the proper study and investigation to find out what virus was causing the damage, what that damage was, and what we could do to prevent it, right? All of our techniques are innovative techniques in education. This idea that there isn't one form of intelligence, but perhaps 8 forms of intelligence comes from, well, specifically a guy named Howard Gardner and his work, but it comes from scholarship, right? Our understanding of fragrances, our understanding of how to raise children, our understanding of weather, every possible thing you can name under the sun comes from scholarship. So scholarship is not the boogeyman, it's nothing bad. It is accessible. It's not some type of over your head type of thing. And I want to get into that. First of all, I want to talk about, and of course, I'm saying this with particular respect to our Black liberation movement. In my opinion, good scholarship should do a few things. It should dispel myths. It should erase outdated and ineffective methods. It should dispel ideas that are not true, methods and thinking that hurts our people and sets us backwards. Good scholarship should do that. It gets rid of the bad. It extricates stuff like when that dentist takes that tooth out that's causing infection, is going to ruin your mouth. They say, oh, unfortunately we got to take this out. Good scholarship takes out the the negative and old teeth of bad ideas, reactionary ideas, false ideas. Good scholarship provides clarity. It helps to remove or lessen our confusion about things. So you know how it is. As civilizations get older, they hopefully get wiser. Things that we thought or believed, we now know are not true. So for instance, when I was in grade school, they taught us there were 9 planets. Well, who would have known that Pluto is actually not a planet? We now know that through scholarship. Um, there was a time when people thought that if you got on a boat and you went too far in one way or another, your boat, because the earth was flat, your boat would fall over cliff of the earth and monsters would swallow you up, right? Scholarship proved that that was not true, that the earth was round. So scholarship is our friend when it is done properly and not sloppily. I don't want people to be intimidated by scholars or by scholarship. Scholarship is supposed to provide clarity, right? And to lessen our confusion. Third thing good scholarship should do is it should uncover new information, new things that are critical to our understanding, to our forward motion, to our liberation, right? That's important. So we might go looking for this in our scholarship. We may find out, wow, there's a whole, there's a whole new world of things we didn't know that are important for us to know as we move forward as a people, right? So it's to uncover new information. It's to good scholarship should identify new areas that we need to explore, things that we prior to this scholarship didn't think about. So one thing I like about the direction scholarship has moved in over time is that there was a time when the only types of things covered in history books were the lives and the achievements of these so-called great white men. And over time, history has expanded to include the struggles and the achievements in the history of women, the achievements of people who are disabled, the achievements and the liberation struggle of Black people. It has also gone from only covering these huge cities, popular movements and organizations. History now looks at organizations in tiny communities, whereas it didn't do that before. So history has moved in a good direction. Good scholarship is supposed to identify new areas we need to explore so that we're not narrow in the way that we look at the world. So we see the world in its complexity as it really is, right? And that's what scholarship helps us to do. People have a tendency to like to simplify everything. I guess maybe to make it easier for them to understand and explain. But actually, the world is much more complicated than, oh, how do we do this? Oh, we do that or do this. No, maybe there's 8 different ways to approach something. Scholarship will help us understand the complexity of a situation, and it might even imply or suggest that we move in certain ways over certain other ways. Good scholarship should help to explain things, right? That is important because it's very easy to go through life with old wives' tales, anecdotes, what this one told you, what this one said, what you heard from a third or fourth party, and it could all be wrong. And you could be living your life based on things that aren't even true. Good scholarship reveals and clarifies things. Say, no, this is actually, so there was a time when we thought the rain came down because people danced a certain way at a certain time, or because God was angry with us, or that volcanoes erupted because God was angry. And people believe that. And then through scholarship, through investigation, through serious study and observation, we found no, there are reasons to explain this that are not necessarily religious, right? And also, good scholarship helps us to make forecasts and therefore to prevent misfortune or tragedy, right? So you could probably think of this in the case of, let's say, things that are weather related, right? People may study the eruption of a particular volcano. People may study the activity around areas like Texas and Louisiana, the Gulf activity, and they might say, "Wow, we notice that every so often, around 3 or 4 years apart, there are these huge floods caused by tornadoes or what have you, and these floods cause a lot of death and destruction of property." So, because of that, and we studied the height of of the water at its top height. We study how far in the floods go and the areas that are affected by floods. Let's say in places like New Orleans. And so, because of our scholarship, we propose building levees, building these structures that can hold the water back, really high, strong, flexible structures. We propose, since these are the places where these floods tend to hit, that's where we build the most, we concentrate the most. We propose maybe creating houses that stand on stilts that are high up, right? All of these things come from scholarship. People who went, investigated, did serious, didn't just go by what they heard, what they thought. They studied it. That is very, I can't express enough, family, how important it is with a lot of things to actually go beyond just what you think in the heat of the moment and read and study or confer with people who have done the reading and study, right? With things like liberation, things like how to cure yourself and stuff like that, it's very important that you get accurate information and not go by anecdotal stuff. Okay. I think lastly, because this won't be long, I want to include two things that scholarship probably should not do or should not be like really overly focused on. And these are two tendencies that I see. And those of us in Black liberation movement need clarity. We need answers. We need to be more effective. We need to clarify things that we're confused about. We need to forecast things. We need to prevent misfortune. The last thing we need is to be stuck in any area. So, two things scholarship probably should not do is, one, to be overly concerned with supporting what we believe already. That's biased scholarship. Naturally, you do want to have proof, support for the things you believe. You want to, if you're in a debate, there's a big presidential debate coming up next week, Tuesday, with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And they're both going to be making their different points about the economy, domestic policy, foreign policy. And they're both going to be trying to convince the viewers that they are the best person for the job of president of the United States. Now, to do that, they have to provide us more with just conjecture and speculation. They got to give us reasons right? Why we should believe what they say, reasons why we should see them as credible, reasons why to be able to say what that person said is accurate. This is why, after all these debates, you have organizations that simply check the facts to check to see if this candidate told the truth or if this candidate told the truth. It's very important. So it's important, but it's important that we not just be concerned. We just reading stuff to prove what we believe already. Because what if what you believe is wrong? If you're just sifting through information to confirm what you already believe, all you're really doing is confirming, getting more and more proof for an idea you have that is invalid or incorrect. That's what we call poor scholarship, and it's biased scholarship. In fact, we have scholars and intellectuals in our community that had an idea, they had a hypothesis about something. So you do the research to do what? To see if you're correct. You don't do the research to prove what you believe already. You do the research to see if what you believe is correct or is valid, right? That's the difference. So I know a brother named Brother Scott Brown. He's a professor, I believe at UCLA, good friend for probably close to 30 years. And we were Africana Studies students at Cornell's Africana Studies and Research Center. And Scott did something that I find amazing and rare. He was a member of a particular organization. He was under the tutelage of a very famous, nationally, internationally known individual. And he was doing his research to give this organization, he was in more respect, more props, to big up the leader, to big up the different things that this organization contributed to our people. And upon doing his research, he actually found out some things that weren't so good. Maybe not about the organization in particular, but about an individual or two in the organization and leadership. As a result of him doing his own interviews with people and his own research and going to the FBI files and reading the newspaper clippings and having all these discussions and this primary sort of research, he came to find out that things he believed to be true about this organization were not true, and that there were a lot of unanswered questions. And as a result of that, he changed his position in the organization. In other words, he let the scholarship, what he found out, dictate his view. And in this case, it actually changed his views. He still had respect for the organization and the leader, but he had to now question certain things and he had to remove himself from the organization. That, my friends, is good scholarship. When you go in thinking this and you do that real research, you traveling here, you flying over here, you driving here, you interviewing this one and going through all the records, and you actually change your position, that's good scholarship. What some people do is they go just to find everything that supports what they believe. And that's biased. And again, if what you believe is faulty, all that's doing is supporting your flawed thinking, right? Scholarship is not supposed to do that. So those of us who are intellectuals or scholars should not be reading things just to support what we believe, but in fact to find out if what we believe is valid or not. That's how you approach it. Secondly, in my opinion, scholarship should not be obsessed with simple facts and dates. Scholarship is not supposed to be this thing like, you know, oh no, brother, that didn't happen on that day. That happened on this day. You're a week off. Oh no, brother. No, 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 that happened before. Let me tell you the problem with that. Should scholarship be precise and accurate? Absolutely. But it should not be overly concerned with facts and dates because at the end of the day, those are things we can get from any Google search, or you go on your iPhone and ask Siri. And those are things you can look up on the internet. Those are very easy things to get. Um, and people make mistakes. Scholars make mistakes too. Get some of the facts wrong, some of the dates, some of the places. But scholarship has to be concerned with much weightier issues, right? Scholarship is more concerned with context, understanding. What's the context of a situation? Uh, Scholarship is more concerned with providing a critique, helping us determine if what we believe about something or someone or a historical period is true, is it accurate, is it effective, right? Scholarship is supposed to help us prepare us to be more effective, more successful, and more efficient. If we take scholarship and we spend too much time trying to dig up fact, like, did you know the first black, that type of scholarship, or being overly focused on the dates and the names, that distracts us from the larger mission of scholarship, which is understanding that, well, this is why that happened. This is what led to that cause and effect. This is what set the foundation for this teaching. This is why Malcolm X, because his parents were Garveyettes. Makes sense, right? Things That's what it's supposed to do. But if you get too caught up in the facts and the figures, you miss the deep understanding. It reminds me of a movie that Bruce Lee was in, and famous scene. He's talking to a student, and he tells him, "Give me a kick, kick at me." And the student does a kick, and the kick is kind of subpar, and he says, "No, that's whack. Do that over." The student kicks again and says, "No, that's not good. Do it this way, or whatever." The student listens to Bruce, and this time he throws a good kick. And Bruce says, "Very good. How did that feel when you gave the kick?" And the student's like, let me think. And he's like, "Man, what do you think about? How did it feel?" He's kind of chastising him, like, student doesn't get it. He's trying to say, be organic. Then he says, "Look," he said, "it's just like," and he's pointing. He said, "just like a finger pointing to the universe, right?" And the student is fixated on his finger and not looking at what and he smacks him on the head and says, "You don't focus on the finger because you miss all the heavenly glory." That's scholarship. There's people who are focused on the finger of scholarship, and they're not seeing the larger picture of the story that this scholarship is telling. What's the narrative? Or it's debunking something that we believed for thousands of years. This is telling, "Oh no, we were wrong about that. We need to look at that differently." Or this scholarship is telling us we need to rediscover the works of a person whose work and ideas have been long buried, and now we can rediscover what they were saying. Or a person who history turned their back on, we now see was right the whole time. That's the point of scholarship, family, is to uncover stories and narratives, important information, point us in the right direction, help us to debunk myths and inaccuracies. And we can't do that if we get too bogged up. No, no, brother, sorry. That wasn't April 20th. It was April 26th. It was at exactly 5:30 p.m. That type of, that's not really the type of scholarship we need. So with that said, family, hope I made my point. Thank you all. For all of you who watch the recorded version, please subscribe to the channel, show your support and love so we can reach more people. Thank you. Peace and Black Power, Wukusu. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget to purchase that book, Wukusu, a self-help, a self-empowerment handbook on Amazon. Peace.